Hello there. Lovely to be here. Let me just turn my music down a little bit. Hope that's not too loud. Hope you can hear me okay. Let me know in the chat if everything's coming through all right. Lovely to be online on this admittedly very beautiful Sunday. And I don't know whether anybody's actually tuning in today because the weather's so nice here in Germany. I don't know what it's like where you are. It would be lovely if I could get a little hello in the chat and just let me know where in the world you are so that I know who's with me today. And then we'll get started pretty quickly, I would say. Just taking it easy for the first few minutes, seeing who shows up. And then we can get talking. There's Leon, hey there, and Stella. Hello, hello. So I know England's in the room, and I know it's after midnight for Stella, wow. Excellent. So I have some plans for today. So one of the plans is that I'm going to be doing a live review of Élan by Nightwish. That's my first thing on my agenda. The second thing on my agenda is I'm going to be doing my first ever Dimash reaction, because I've done a few reviews up to now. I think about 5 reviews of Dimash's tracks. Thing is now, I've run out of songs that I've already seen him perform. So today, for the first time, I'm going to check out a song that I've never seen him perform before, and I'll see whether in the audience there's any kind of requests as to which song I should take. Otherwise, it's going to be totally random, and we'll see what we think of Dimash, perhaps with even his own songs, or at least in different settings to the Singer Show, which is where I've seen him thus far. And on top of that, I'll be taking a few requests for spontaneous reactions. So if there's anything you'd like to see me react to that you've been waiting for, this is the time to do it. So you can put your thinking caps on. You can let me know if there's anything that seems to have been missing thus far that you'd really like to see a reaction to or a review of if I know it already. And I will try and make that happen for you today. That would be rather lovely. So, how is everybody? Where is everybody? What is the weather like? What's going on? Today, here in Germany, it's been really warm but humid, and it was exactly the same yesterday. We were told yesterday there'd be a thunderstorm. There was no rain. Today we've had a tiny spattering of rain, but very little. This is the British thing to do, by the way. When you say hello, you talk about the weather. So, if you're not from the UK, this is why I have to start with the weather, of course. But I'd love to know, actually, where are you? And is it sunny, rainy? What is going on for you? Is the sun shining? Is it winter? Goodness, Stella, winter? You must be on the other side of the world. Well, you must be because it's after midnight, right? More in the north, yeah. I'm in Lower Saxony, so yeah, exactly. It's humid, it's sunny, and we're waiting for rain. I just cannot wait for a great big thunderstorm. I would love one. I would love the air to be kind of fresh again. But right now it's pretty musky. So cannot wait for a bit of cool air again. So we've got the UK in the room. We've got Germany in the room. What other countries do we have in the room? Which part of the world are you in where it's winter, Stella? Oh, in Baden-Württemberg, yeah. Okay, down south. Australia, that's right. And Western Germany as well, okay, wow. Oh, that thunderstorm. Send it my way, please, LK. I'm waiting. One of those safe thunderstorms that doesn't hurt anybody and damage any cars. One of those would be lovely. So what I thought I might do today to kick things off is see whether there's any requests for any reactions in the chat. If so, I might start with one of those to warm us up a little bit. And then we can get down to business with the Nightwish review. And then we can see whether there's any kind of requests for Dimash. And if so, I will follow your requests. And if not, I will defer back to the poll I did on my YouTube channel a while ago and see whether there's one there that wins. Because I did do a little poll, but I don't think it got all that much attention. So I can check back there and see which one was requested there. Actually, over the last week I put out a Dimash review. It was going to be my last Dimash review video, and I uploaded it and instantly discovered that it was blocked worldwide. So very unlucky there. I did All By Myself. I did the reaction to All By Myself from the Singer show, and very unfortunately it couldn't be put online. So I've put in a little appeal, and I have to wait and see what happens there. They have 30 days to respond to it, so we'll see what happens. Stella is waiting for Dimash, no problem. So I just looked back at the little poll I did. The most popular one in the poll that I did a while ago was Daybreak. So I don't know what you think about that, Stella. Are you recommending Daybreak to me? Is that a good one to check out? Oh, you put a comment on there as well though, Stella, and you're in the room across endless dimensions. Okay, I don't know that one at all. Never heard of it, so that might be a good one to look at. Just for fun. Cool. So, if there's any other requests for any kind of reaction, I'll start with one of those. Just start with something a little bit different to warm us up, and then we'll get into both Nightwish and Dimash. I might even play a couple of my songs along the way, just to see what happens, a little bit of fun, just to keep playing music, and we'll take it from there. So is there anything in the room that you would like to see? Any reactions that are missing thus far that you think I really have to be checking out? Let's start with that. Now then, what is that? I have never heard of that before, Astral. Let me see what I can find. So this is an official music video with 13 million views. Sounds like it might be worth checking out. Okay, let me turn off my backing music. All right. Just loading it up now. Let's do it. I have loaded up. I have no idea who this is, how to pronounce it, which language it even is. Maybe you could tell me in the chat, which language is this that I'm looking at here? And where is the musician or the band from? I have no idea how to pronounce this name. This looks entirely new to me. So anything you can tell me is very helpful as a bit of context before I jump in. I'll copy and paste the name and see whether I can find out a bit more. A South Korean rapper. Okay. Interesting. Okay, then let's have a look. Let me get this all set up. You need to be able to see my review video. Here we go. Very good. All done. Let's have a look then. Sounds like an orchestra tuning up.
Gottasadae 멈추지 말지어다 나를 위로 불지어봐 역사로 살지어다 중인의 삶이 되지어다 여기를 밝힐지어다 여기다 삼킬지어다 구하시는 기준이 나일지어다 그 나일지어다 BewhY Gottasadae 우리도 날 따를지어다 난 선구자일지어다 누누 날 찾을지어다 내 이름의 시대를 만들지어다 한글은 팔을지어다 잔들을 따를지어다 나는 되고 싶은 내가 될지어다 내가 될지어다 BewhY Gottasadae 모든 bitch Gottasadae 모든 거 위에 Gottasadae You and me Gottasadae in the wish Gottasadae 명신이 질 Gottasadae 전설이 될 Gottasadae 열매를 맺을 Gottasadae BewhY Gottasadae.
I'm going to jump in and just see what I'm talking about here. Let me just see what's going on in the chat. I'm just moving that over here so I can see it. There we are. Okay, so BewhY is obviously how we pronounce this. So it's from English, BewhY. And Gottasadae. What is Gottasadae? What does that mean? I'm going to Google that right now. But obviously this is in Korean then, in the Korean language. Based on the Bible's message, Gottasadae talks about the importance of nature. Oh, okay. That's interesting because even with the Nightwish songs we've been looking at recently, there's a lot of nature in there to look at. So common theme here. Interesting also because, I mean, firstly, the video, what is going on there? All these men in masks, or are they gas masks? What kind of masks are they? And then we have BewhY standing around with a lot of interesting things to say. And actually also quite typically rap things to say. I mean, I'm not massive in my knowledge of rap music, but what I do know is that a lot of the times the lyrics talk about kind of bigging oneself up, talking about the power one's going to find later in life, the person you're going to become. And that's a seemingly common theme here in this video, that he's talking about, you know, what he's going to be, what he's going to do, and a lot of mentions of his name. So this is fairly typical for rap music, and it's also interesting that that is the case in Korean then as well. Okay, let's see what goes on. Let's check it out.
BewhY Gottasadae. BewhY Gottasadae. BewhY Gottasadae. BewhY Gottasadae. 옛날 지었다. 참으로 나를 뱉었대 역사들을 새겼대 걸 잡들어 베꼈대 진짜대로 말했어 내 건 최고 최초들 날 들으면 매번 배꼽 잡아 배고파도 내 걸 만들어 새걸 창조 계속하고 백원 잡아 배부른 알로 랩으로 바꿔 래퍼 낙천 재고 난도 했어 참으로 쨌던 난 못했다 땄던 대로 중심은 날 지어다 신의 영상을 지어다 세상은 내 손 안을 지어다 영광의 멜로가 네 가질 지어다 기준을 진실 지어다 미래를 괜실 지어다 가짜는 회사를 지어다 나는 그 회사를 지어다 BewhY Gottasadae 모든 내 bitch Gottasadae 모든 거 위에 Gottasadae You and me Gottasadae in the wish Gottasadae 명신이 질 Gottasadae 전설이 될 Gottasadae 열매를 맺을 Gottasadae BewhY Gottasadae.
Got to come back in there. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. First thing I quite like the sound of is the choir in the background. There's a lot of kind of deep voice choir in the background. I wonder whether that's supposed to represent all the people around him. And those people around him, you know, they're kind of dressed up now as almost like his little army. And they're stood there in the background. And what's really funny is also that janitor standing in between with his mop and his cart. Quite surreal. And what is it they're preparing for? Is it they're preparing to kind of make BewhY some kind of greater power? What are they preparing for? So this kind of little army that he's put together in this, what is this? This empty sports hall or whatever it is. What is it they're preparing for? What are they trying to become? And then you've got these guards. What are they at the side here, you know? With very little clothing. What's the difference between these people in terms of status and these people around here at the front? Also want to mention how good BewhY it is at fitting lots and lots of syllables into a very small space. Now, of course, that's fairly typical in rap music, but I get the feeling that he's paced it particularly quickly. He's fitting a lot in to each of those lines. So, and you know, the need to breathe is something that rappers often struggle with live. They often have to have somebody else with them to kind of take over the transitions of lines so that they can actually take a breath. Eminem did this a lot. So that's quite fun as well, that he's fitting so much into his lines. Okay, let's go to the end.
Gottasadae.
Quite a short song then. Very kind of current pop in terms of the song length. And this is fun, watching the credits. Now, what's this flag that's being burned? Wow. That's a statement in itself. You know, flag burning is something very controversial, but which flag is it? I'm not sure whether I saw that in time. Did anyone else see that? Interesting stuff. Whoa. Powerful. Packs a punch. Lots going on in there. Wow. So, does anybody know? Does anyone know what that flag was? I couldn't see it quickly enough, but I'd be interested to know. Wow. Lots going on in there. All right, then. Excellent. So that was BewhY. Never heard of him before, so that's interesting that he appeared in our chat today. So why not? Great stuff. I've got to admit, I don't know a whole lot about rap music. I heard a little bit of it, you know, in younger days, but not a whole lot. I'm more of a rocker, so it's fun to check out different genres, though. And it's been a while since I've checked out rap, Korean rap particularly. I mean, that's something else, that the rap culture in Korea is actually quite similar in terms of the lyrics by the sound of things. You know, talking about what one's going to be, what one aspires to, the kind of personalities you're going to become, gaining power, that kind of thing. And the video really supports that, you know. But what's this army going to do? That's what I want to know. Okay. Does anybody else in the room have something they'd like me to look at? That was an interesting start, definitely. So is there anything anyone else would like to see before I move on and check out the two videos that we were going to look at today? Hello, Bulgaria. Hey there. So is there anything anybody would like to see before I jump into the two main features? Epica, yeah, I checked out one song. I did a live stream when I hit just over 1,000, and I did the Skeleton Key by Epica. Yeah, I did that one. You can actually see that if you go onto my channel and look at the videos and look for the live videos. The last live stream video, where it's called First Reactions, it's in there. I did one with Temptation, I did one Epica, and I did one After Forever. So there was a good mix of metal in there, definitely. So I've got to admit, Skeleton Key is the only recent Epica song I've looked at, because I've been saving myself in case I do reactions in the future. I know a few of their older ones, but that's about it so far. The band, is that Grai or Gral? Let me just copy that in. Wolves Within tells me I've not heard of Wolves Within. Ooh, hello. Now, who's Grai? Is that these people here? Or is that these people here? If you want to point me at a song by each of them, then we can happily take a look. Let's see. Do you want to throw me a song title for Grai or for Wolves Within, and I'll see what I can find. I mean, obviously there seems to be a lot here. Grai, is that Russian? Cyrillic alphabet, certainly. And Wolves Within. Let's see what we have there. Ah, that's an Epica song. Okay, gotcha. Ah, yeah. Is that from the new album? Oh, but there's also a band called Wolves Within. But I guess you mean this one, right? The Epica track. It's a Russian band, okay. If you want to give me a song title for Grai, for the Russian group there, I can take a look. And Aneta, I guess you're talking about this video here, right? Epica's Wolves Within. Certainly an interesting battle video again. Looks rather Game of Thrones-ish. Okay, I'll tell you what, while it's here, let's do it. Why not? I'm always interested to check out more Epica. And LK, while you're waiting, you can maybe send me a title suggestion by Grai to take a look at. I'm happy to try it out. Okay. So, loading Epica. And ready to go. Oh, you sent the link? Where did you send it to? Was it in the Discord, or where did you send it? Shall we jump in there for a moment? Lots happening in this one. Wow. Firstly, can you hear the music okay? Is it loud enough now? It seemed a little bit quiet to me, so I've just turned it up a little bit. Hope that my headphone volume does not now come out too loud for you, but let me know if it does. Yeah, if you've got requests, just stick them in the chat. That's what I'm here for. And hello to Russia, indeed. Okay. Privet. So, let's talk about this. This video, for a start, it seems like we have a mix of Avatar and Game of Thrones in there. We have the blue eyes, we have the white direwolf, we have burning all around like the dragon fire of Game of Thrones. This is interesting. I wonder what the idea behind this story was. I wonder where it's come from. But it's called The Wolves Within, of course, so those direwolves are not surprising. But yeah, there's a very kind of Game of Thrones-esque theme to it, and a little mix with the Avatar, almost like the White Walkers, actually, from Game of Thrones with those blue eyes. But yeah, certainly enjoying it. And I'm enjoying hearing Simone there. There's great volume on her voice, very expressive. The guitar is playing a really cool riff there at the beginning that I'm enjoying, and the drum work is really good. There's a lot of kind of double bass pedal work going on in there that's really interesting too. So I can't say a whole lot about the lyrics. There's no subtitles there. I've been kind of trying to pay attention to everything at the same time, but the message in there is about truth from what I understood at the beginning. And I'm excited. Let's keep going. So proper battle scenes going on here. Very Game of Thrones. Very, very Game of Thrones. I mean, what's really interesting, though, it seems like in this one, the good guys are the ones with the blue eyes, right? And that's the polar opposite to Game of Thrones. That's what I'm guessing, at least. You know, this person seems to be like the kind of last fighter standing. And then you've got the white wolf with the blue eyes. And I see here in the chat, it's the struggle within every person between revenge and forgiveness, good and bad. So I guess this person's fighting with themselves then. The warriors are within, just as the wolves are within, fighting with each other to kind of get control of the personality and figure out who's going to come out on top. Is it fear? Is it, is it fear? Is it trust? Is it good or is it bad? Revenge, forgiveness. That's really cool. Really cool concept. So you've got like the White Walkers against the, all the good guys in Game of Thrones against each other inside you, which must give you stomachache sometimes, right? Okay. Wow. So much happening. And, really enjoying hearing Simone. The vocals really are just soaring. You can hear the words pretty clearly. Lots going on. That hook in the chorus is fantastic. I really like that. I'm not sure. I think I might even prefer this to the Skeleton Key. It's been a while since I saw it, but I think I might even prefer this one to the Skeleton Key. Is it from the same album? Are they both from the album that came out just a few months ago? Maybe someone could clear that up for me. Because I don't know much Epica. I know about Simone quite well because I saw her on stage with Camelot a few times, but I haven't really checked out all that much Epica, and I've been doing it on purpose recently because, of course, I want to use my channel for that a little bit too. Okay, let's carry on. I don't want to interrupt this kind of final battle scene, but it's not stopping any time for me to pause, so I have to. Wow, lots happening there, and a lot of it's coming from the drums. There's so much going on there. These double bass figures, these kind of ride appearances there, also the kind of offbeat on the snare drum. The drums are really driving this, and those riffs from the guitar are coming through again and again. Really enjoyable. Wow. And yeah, this video is just so many impressions coming from it. Okay, let's carry on with this last battle here. Well, now that is a bit special. What's really interesting to me there is what's going on at the end, particularly because it seems like after this battle, the two sides are almost coming back together again. And I was sitting here thinking, what's going to happen if someone wins this battle? If one wolf wins against the other, if one of the fighters wins against the other, what's going to happen there? Because typically, when we have these inner conflicts, when we're kind of trying to figure out which side is going to win inside us, the other side doesn't disappear. It just kind of gets quieter and maybe comes back again later. So here I also wondered, what's going to happen here when one side has won and the other has lost? And it almost seems like they're reuniting a little bit at the end, having had this huge fight and nobody's really died from it, that they're kind of coming back together and kind of just meeting and seeing each other again, reuniting. And that's a really cool ending, actually. Kind of makes you wonder what the point of the fight was, and that's always the way. Psychologically, we have these huge fights, we have these huge battles, and then at the end we kind of think, what was all that about? So I actually really like this. Very, very well thought out. And what I also noticed at the end with that fight, that one of the eyes was blue and the other had turned orange, almost like the two sides is united inside the fighter. And the child also, with the blue eyes, sitting there kind of overlooking everything. Was the battle inside the child? Was the child just observing? What was going on there? So for a first impression, wow, I kind of need to go back and check out some more Epica, I have to admit. So, yeah, exactly, Annetta, what you've written there. We have the freedom to choose every time anew. I like it. The battle won't end. We will continue, with these inner battles, and they probably never will go away. And one time one side will win, one time the other will win. Interesting stuff. Okay, we'll carry on because I know there's a couple more requests that came through in the chat. Don't worry, Flora and Dimash will both be around soon. So I promised LK that I would check out a song by Grai, and In the Arms of Mara has been suggested here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that out. And I see there's a request from Emmy Cat. When It Falls by Casey Lee Williams. I will have a look at that as well. What I'll do is I will check out the Grai song first, and then I will do one of the two reviews that I promised today. I would go ahead, I think, and... Oh, there we go, starting without me. I would go ahead and do the Nightwish review in a little while after this song, and then I will take the request that came in from Emmy and look at When It Falls, also a song I've never heard of, and after that we'll do the Dimash reaction. And that still gives us time to figure out which Dimash song we're definitely going to do. And after that, we'll see what time is left. I can still take another request or two for reactions, or I might play a couple of my songs at the end just for fun. So we'll see. But in the meantime, okay, we have Grai, we have In the Arms of Mara. No idea what this is about. No idea what... I guess it's going to be sung in Russian, although it says Polski here at the top. I don't know whether there's some Polish involvement in there. So you're going to have to help me out if you know this. I'm just going to check it out and see what I can figure out. Here we go. Is that a recorder? Okay, before it gets too exciting and carries on, I'll have a look. You've sent me lyrics in German. Where have you sent them? Okay, where are they? Can I find them somewhere? Are they on Discord? Ah, there they are. Okay, so let's have a look now. I am going to just have a look at the lyrics and tell you what this is all about. In the arms of Mara, and it says, white winter came and didn't ask, came wildly covered with silver snow, transformed my soul and my heart into ice, covered the river with frozen tears. The white winter brought along unfriendly, so kind of, opposing thoughts. The sun is hidden. The sky is full of the moon. I'm walking in kind of in dusk, in half darkness. I hear death kind of creeping along quietly. There's a snowstorm whistling and kind of cutting. The terrible winter has put the cold into our hearts. That kind of thing. Wow. Okay, heavy lyrics. So definitely interesting stuff. And also another kind of warrior walking along with their shield, but also with their horn. This is much more kind of medieval warrior, right? Interesting mix as well. I don't know why. The guitar's really loud in the mix on my ears. The drum's pretty good to hear. The vocals as well. I can't hear the bass at all, I don't think. But also I quite like the inclusion of these other instruments, these kind of more folky instruments. The recorder at the beginning was interesting. Almost kind of reminiscent of Troy playing his whistles at the beginning of Nightwish songs. Interesting stuff, and it's also interesting that this is very basic in terms of the chord structure. It's just a minor chord going down to the kind of fourth step major, and then the fifth again up to the sixth minor. So not very complex chords, but kind of lots happening. The drum is also quite interesting, kind of going from the ride at one point onto the hi-hat in the next part. Fun stuff. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, it's quietening down there a little bit, so I'm just going to hit a pause here and go back to that in a moment. Yeah, so much happening in this, so many instruments. The violin just kicked in as I went back into the song again. So we've got the violin, we've got the recorder, we've got the typical metal instruments of guitar, bass, and drums. We've got the vocals on top. Lots happening. The video is quite uneventful in a way. It's slow moving, but that's okay. That's good because there's so much happening musically. You've got to intersperse that with the actual performance side of things. If you think back to the Epica video, there was no performance at all in there on the video. It was an entirely animated concept video, which was great too. In this case, you've got the mix of the performance and the story, and that's sometimes quite hard to balance. So it's quite good actually that this song is quite slow paced in terms of the video. Let me take you back to the lyrics. Let's talk about what's going on here. The cold came, didn't ask, brings worries with it and cost me all of my strength. White winter, snowy and kind of swaying in the wind. This kind of terrible winter is not ending. The snowstorm is knocking unexpectedly at the window. I can't sleep. A snowstorm is filling up my soul. Winter took a good friend or a dear friend away. Destroyed the soul of the unfriendly winter magic. And this, or a kind of dreadful winter took Mara in its arms. Wow. Okay, some heavy stuff going on in the lyrics, but wow, why not? Okay. So let's see where the story takes us, because the video's not done yet. Let's see where it takes us. Hang on a minute, where did that growl come from? I was just thinking how much I enjoyed hearing those two vocalists singing together. That was great. Also good that they're kind of switching between the instruments and the vocals. That's cool. And then suddenly that growl out of nowhere. Where did that come from? And who did it for a start? Was it one of those two vocalists, or was it someone else in the band? Was it a guest vocalist on the album? I want to know. This video, I don't know. I mean, I really like the performance element of it. That's filmed really well. This story's very slow moving. Not a whole lot happening. There seems to be kind of this warrior kind of mooching around, trying to find, I don't know, where the way home, the next village, whatever. And then this hand of the woman kind of appears on his back. Quite gender stereotypical, but also, you know, back in these days, that was the case. The warriors went out and, you know, they were supported by the ladies. Things have changed since then. Thankfully, and you know, it's not quite so stereotypical anymore, but that's the story, right? Okay, so let's see how the story ends. I like that little outro as well. You know, they could have left it, but I'm glad they didn't, because actually you got to hear a bit of the bass there. The bassist was doing some nice tapping on his bass at the end that was worth listening to. Okay, So structurally, not a very complicated song in terms of the actual chords, but what was going on there was really well arranged. The guitars were a little bit loud in the mix for my taste, but apart from that, really well put together. The video, storyboard, I'm not all that convinced. I don't know whether this is one of their earlier songs where they were working to a low budget and they still had to figure out, the mechanics of making music videos. The end of it seemed a little bit, I don't know, easy, just the touch of the mittens and the warrior woke up and I don't know. But the lyrics about the snow and, what it did and the problems that it brought with it, that's all interesting. And that all is, quite an understandable story that came behind it. Yeah. So thank you for introducing me to them. That is something that I think I might listen to some more of. I quite enjoyed that. So, let us carry on. I haven't forgotten you, Emmy Cat. I know you had a request there, and we will take a look at it, don't worry. So, I want to start, though, with the first of the two reviews that I promised for today, and that is, of course, Élan. And yesterday I went over to the Night Dreamers Reactor-side Discord server, which is a really cool place for Nightwish fans to hang out because there's a lot of reactors on the server. There's also a lot of fans. And we simply sit there and talk about how wonderful Nightwish are. And, I'm one of a lot of people who respond to their videos. I am not a reactor to Nightwish songs because I know them all already. I've been a fan of Nightwish for far too long to call myself a reactor to their videos. Instead, I call myself a reviewer, as do a couple of other people. Not many, but there's some of us out there. And so we talk about what makes Nightwish great and their songs as well. Now, a little bit of history on this, I have been with Nightwish since around about 2005, which is when Nemo came out and the Once album, and I've been a fan ever since. I went straight back and looked at the back catalogue, and then they dropped off my radar for a little while, and it was kind of quite a bit after this album, Endless Forms Most Beautiful appeared, that I kind of got back to Nightwish and really got back into them and checked out their older songs again. And Élan was like the lead single initially off the Endless Forms Most Beautiful album. And it's quite a positive song. Élan is about this kind of vibrant mood, this optimistic mood, celebration, that kind of thing. So that is a kind of logical start. And the other reason I want to look at this is because I'm going to do a follow-up review of Kruish and their cover of it. Kruish, if you don't know, are Nightwish's actual crew, the people who set up the stages, do the light and the sound and the pyrotechnics, all those people, guitar tech, drum tech. And these people have been out of work for a long time now. So they used the time, they put together a little CD with 5 Nightwish covers on them. And I've already done a review to one of them, to Nemo, which was done in kind of like an AC/DC style. And I still haven't listened to the other tracks that I haven't heard yet. One of them being Élan. And I'd like to see, what they're going to do with that. So today we have the live review here. And after that, we will, on another day, have Kruish and their cover. So, I'm excited to check out Élan again because it's not one of the songs I've been listening to for years and years. It's a newer one by Nightwish. It's a few years now, but it's become a staple in their live set. So, let us get started. I have my video loaded. It is visible. It is from the Vehicle of Spirit show in Tampere. There were 3 options. It was Wembley, Tampere, or Buenos Aires. And it was Tampere that won in the poll that I did on the Night Dreamers Reactor side server. Shout out if you're there in the room today. If not, I hope that when I cut this and stick this reaction on, that a few people will see it then. So, looking forward to this. Let's get started. Here we go.
Something tells me you might know this one too. And you singing along sounds so beautiful. Please join us again, as loud and beautiful as you can.
Springtime talk turns from the time before.
Right then, before we carry on to the next round of the song, let's talk about a few things. So, firstly, look at all that kind of optical work on the stage, all that imagery in the background. Lots happening there, and this is why, Nightwish has got such a great crew. They've done, the stage show they put together is just massive, and there's so much going on there. Just, the detail, even in things like the mic stands. If you take a look at Troy there and his microphone stand, they make such imagery around everything they do on the stage. It's not just people standing on a stage and playing. So I really appreciate the efforts that Nightwish go to put together a really cool stage show. That's the starting point. Next thing, the personnel on the stage. So I guess, any Nightwish fans in the room will know this already, but for those of you that don't, we've got Floor Jansen on the vocals, and she is the vocalist of Nightwish now and has been since 2012. This was the first album upon which Floor provided the vocals in the studio, and this means this is the first lead single out of an album with Floor singing on it. So it's a bit special, this song, just for that reason already. And it's also the first album in which Troy, that you can see here on the screen, is a full-time permanent member of Nightwish. He's provided instruments for other albums in the past, but this is the first time he's a full member of the band on this album. So it's a bit of a special song for him as well, I guess, and he's taking quite a prominent role in it as well. On the keyboards, you've got Tuomas Holopainen, who is the kind of brain behind Nightwish. He's the composer. He's also one of the two founding members of the band that's still in it. And he's the keyboardist. You've got Empu on the guitar, and he's the other founding member of Nightwish who's still in the band. And then you've got Marco Hittala on the bass, who very sadly is no longer with the band anymore. And then you've got Kai on the drums in this performance. Kai having stepped up to record this album as a session musician, and shortly afterwards having been inducted into the band as a full-time member after the drummer before him, Jukka, the original drummer, had to step down because his health was not allowing him to continue performing to the same level. So that's the personnel on stage, and they're all doing so much already. You hear that Troy is taking lead instrumentally on this one, and still there's lots going on in the background. Empu's providing a really solid kind of guitar line in there, mostly just chords. Marco's very active on the bass, really cool licks going on there, and Kai is doing very, very well on the drums as well. Tuomas is providing some beautiful strings, especially in the higher notes, kind of just before the chorus, to ramp up the pressure a little bit and the mood and the intensity before the chorus kicks in. And then you'd almost expect kind of a more shocking chorus, but actually it's this happy, even though it's led with a minor chord, it's still quite a happy and optimistic sounding chorus. And I guess this is the point where it's worth looking at the lyrics a little bit. So I have to admit, there's a lot in the lyrics that I'm not too sure how to interpret. I mean, the first verse here is, leave the sleep and let the springtime talk. Okay, that's understandable. In tongues from the time before man. Okay, listen to a daffodil tell her tale. That's nice. Just pay attention to nature. Just pay attention to what's going on around you. And that, of course, is the theme of the album in general. It's the album that also came up with the song Endless Swarm's Most Beautiful, which is what the album's named after. Also the album with the greatest show on earth. So much going on in this album about nature and how we should listen to it and appreciate it. Let the guest in, walk out, be the first to greet the morn. The meadows of heaven await harvest, and harvest is a nice kind of signal word because in the current album we have the song Harvest. And the cliffs unjump, cold waters untouched. So lots of nature happening. The elsewhere creatures yet unseen. Finally, your number came up, which is interesting. I don't know what that means exactly. If your number comes up, normally it means you're dying. Free fall awaits the brave. So maybe there is something in there about this kind of circle of life and death, that kind of thing. And in the chorus, this is these lyrics that we'll see again. Come taste the wine, race the blind. We will guide you from the light. Writing noughts till the end of time. And this is interesting. What does that mean? Writing noughts till the end of time. Is that something, some kind of tradition somewhere that I don't know about? Surf the clouds, race the dark. It feeds from the runs undone. Meet me where the cliff greets the sea. And that's an interesting line because in How's the Heart from the current album, it harkens back to this line. And it's seemingly about Floor and how she kind of met her husband. And the kind of evolution of their relationship. So I don't know whether that also begins in this song already. What I'd also like to mention is the nice sneaky little key change at the very beginning of the song. So the introduction to the song where Troy's playing and there's a little bit of keyboard in the background from Tuomas is, initially it's in one key. And then as the song kicks in, it goes up a key. And Nightwish are very good at this. There's lots of songs where they change the key partway through, Nemo being another example. So fun little key change right off the bat there, and that's not that usual for Nightwish. It usually takes a while into the song before that happens, but there it is. Okay, I've talked enough. Let us carry on. And I've got to stop right there because in a minute something else interesting will happen and we don't want to miss that, right? So, what I want to talk about first is the second verse there. We get back in and it's quietened back down. Let me take you through the lyrics a little bit there. The answer to the riddle before your eyes is in dead leaves and fleeting skies. Again, lots of imagery from nature. Returning swans and sedulous mice, writings on the garden's book in the minutes of a lover's look. So again, combining nature with humans. And theme again, you know, human nature, the album right now. So this is a really big theme for Thomas, and it comes across a lot in his lyrics, that romance and nature are somehow interwoven, that the human and the nature are interwoven as well. The next part here, building a sandcastle close to the shore. A house of cards from a worn out deck. Now is the sandcastle and the house of cards, that's really cool imagery to put opposite each other. You know, the sandcastle is also a temporary thing, as is the house of cards. So what's this telling us? Is that telling us that the man-made structures that we're going to build in life are going to kind of collapse around us at some point, and that we should be depending instead on nature? A home from the fellowship, poise and calm, writing lyrics for the song only you can understand. And that, I like that. I really like that. You know, there's so many things that I think of sometimes that I think only I will ever understand this because people, you know, just won't understand me. I don't know if anybody else feels like that sometimes, but that is the kind of thing that, you know, I know that Thomas has felt like that before. He's written about it in songs as well. Yeah. So we've talked about the chorus already. What I really like when we get out of the chorus here, I love the level of detail in Troy's thinking when he plays, because he starts the song with the low whistle and he's now moved on to this kind of really small high tin whistle. And he does exactly the same thing actually on Nemo. He didn't originally because he wasn't in the band when they recorded Nemo, but in the live version recently, in the Endless Forms Most Beautiful tour, and also very recently in the Islanders Arms, the online shows that they did last week, he did exactly the same thing. He started the song with his low whistle and then transitioned in the middle of the song to his tin whistle there. So just so much detail, just jumping an octave, taking a different instrument. And that's the thing about Troy, he's so versatile, moving from one instrument to the next. So really appreciate Troy. And I have to admit, I didn't initially when he joined the band. I thought, okay, this is nice, but it's a bit of a gimmick. He plays a few songs, disappears again. What's the point, really? And when he became a member of the band and when he really started integrating himself into the composition and adding his own parts to the music and then went back through the back catalogue and added things there, I came to realize, you know, firstly, how talented he is on so many instruments, and secondly, just what he brings to the band on a stage setting. And wow, definitely. And of course, he's a Northern Englishman like me, so I've got to appreciate him from that angle too. Really like it. Just looking in the chat, will the stream be saved? I plan to. I plan on saving the stream. Of course, it depends whether any kind of copyright complaints come in that I have to deal with. In my first reaction stream, I had to cut a couple of songs. For example, the Amorphous track, there was a worldwide block on it, so I had to delete that. But I hope it will be saved. In any case, I'm recording the whole stream, so I will certainly cut the Nightwish review from that and upload that separately as well. So that's the plan. Okay, let's get to the end of the song now. Here we go. Well now, and there we go. So, a couple of things again. There's not a lot lyrically to talk about. We've just got that one little interlude to look at. Firstly, back to Troy. Really impressive backing vocals underneath the choruses. And this means, you know, Troy can't split himself into three parts, but what he can do is really look, where am I needed when? So here, the low whistle, here the vocals in the chorus, here the tin whistle, back to the vocals. So he's so versatile. And we saw that, of course, in the Islanders Arms show, where he was playing along with this as well. The one thing that was missing in the Islanders Arms show that we have here, of course, is Marco. Those vocals were missing for me a little bit in the Islanders Arms show, as well as they did, you know, and they absolutely made the best out of it, and Troy really stepped up. But the one thing that was missing for me were those kind of vocal lines that Marco did, because they simply don't have three vocalists right now to do all those parts. So there were a couple of occasions where that was missing for me a little bit, but that was unavoidable. There was nothing else they could do about it. So it was lovely seeing it with Marco again here. Two further key changes over the course of that song. So from Troy's tin whistle part at the beginning of the section we just watched, they changed the key again as they went into the bridge part, and they changed it again as they went into the last chorus. So there are actually 4 different keys in this song. And don't ask me which they were, because I'm not pitch perfect, but there were 4 different keys that they went through in this one track. So let's just talk about those last bit of lyrics. Riding hard, every shooting star. Come to life, open mind, have a laugh at the orthodox. Come, drink deep, let the dam of mind seep. Travel with great Élan, dance a jig at the funeral. I like that. Travel with great Élan and dance a jig at the funeral. I like that. That's a nice little kind of juxtaposition of the two elements. So also, you know, being joyful even in death. And is it your funeral, somebody else's funeral? Whose is it? So, interesting. And, you know, Thomas is just such a wordsmith. He has so many kind of, ways of approaching the same idea, and beautifully done. So all we need to talk about still now, I think, is Floor's vocal for performance, because she's just majestic. And this is, you know, again, I said before, this is the first single featuring her vocals that was actually recorded by her in the studio. So this is a bit special, and there's good reason that it's still in the set list, because it puts together a kind of happy opposite pole to some of the sadder songs that they do. So it's great when a happy song like this or Storytime appears in the set, lifts the mood, allows for some joy between all of the kind of difficult topics that sometimes get taken up in Nightwish's music. So Floor, just brilliant. And it's hard for a vocalist to kind of jump randomly between keys. Well, it's not random, but, you know, jump between keys that often in a song. And makes it so natural, makes it so easy. Just great with the hook of the song, keeping people entertained, you know, asking them again and again to join in. And yeah, really enjoyable to watch her. She looks happy, and there's a good reason for that. Okay. So I think I've covered everything I need to cover there. it just shows again how important these topics are of nature, of human connection, are to Thomas, you know, kind of talking about how buildings and societies may be temporary, but nature is hopefully eternal, and that it is connected to us and that we should respect it and listen to it. Great. Okay, and I like the joyful side of this, not just the kind of warning of danger with nature, but also this joyful side of just appreciating it. Cool. Great stuff. Okay. Now then, the chat's gone quiet. Is everybody still here? Let me look back and just see what that request was from Emmy. And I will set this up. Here we go. When It Falls by Casey Lee Williams. Who is Casey Lee Williams? I've never heard that name before, so I need to find out some more. Is it this one here, featuring Casey Lee Williams by Jeff Williams with lyrics? Are they related? I guess I don't know whether they're married or siblings or who they are. What kind of music should I be expecting here? What do I need to know? Where are they from? Give me a couple of bullet points of what I need to know about this before we jump in and I get surprised. I have a lyrics video here. Is that the one? Yeah, the first one. Okay. Just getting that set up. Okay. Black and red. Okay, what do I expect from this? It almost looks a bit like anime, cartoonish. Is that what I'm looking for? A song about an animated show, there we go, called RWBY. Is that red, white, black, and yellow or something like that? And this is when the story starts to get dark. Okay. Right then. Deep breath. It's going to get dark. Let's do it. Oh, don't you worry, Christine. Dimash is coming. I think Dimash will be next. We just have to figure out which Dimash song we're really doing. So while I'm looking at this and talking to you about this one, you can be starting to put into the chat which Dimash song you really want to see. There were a couple that were suggested in a little kind of posting I did a couple of weeks ago, which Dimash song people would like to see. The ones that we can't do because I've already done them would be SOS, Adagio, The Show Must Go On. What else was there? Opera 2 I've already done, and I did All By Myself, but that has been blocked worldwide, so I'm appealing that and hoping that at some point that'll be allowed to be viewed again. So if you've got a Dimash request, apart from those ones that I've mentioned, then stick it in the chat and I'll see what I can do. The song is about consequences of war, hunger for power. Wow, be it political or military. Okay, dangerous things, yep. But instead of taking a light and cathartic approach to appeal to the listener, as is more common, it goes for a brutally dark approach in order to shock them as it's a waking call. Wow, okay. Then I'm excited. I've taught courses about leadership and what is good leadership, what is bad leadership, when is it dangerous. So I know a bit about that, and I'm excited. Let's have it. Here we go. Hang on a minute before it gets too exciting. Let us just take a breath there. Okay, so it starts all quiet, it starts all piano-y, and that fools me, of course. and then the noise happened. So much going on there. So much drumming and guitar playing. Obviously really good at their instruments. I know nothing about Casey Lee and Jeff Williams and who they are and where they're from, anything like that. But so much going on musically, and those vocals are maybe 2 octaves higher than the instruments. So there's a really interesting juxtaposition between high and low there in the frequencies. Good harmonies. Good vocal harmonies at the end there with that last long note. I'll take us back in a minute and we can just listen to that again. But that long note, really good harmonies underneath it. Lots happening on the guitar, lots of riffing. So I have to admit I could barely concentrate on the actual lyrics there with so much going on. But we have the lyrics video for that. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Nope. We're going to go back and start that bit again. Wow. That guitar solo. Jeff Williams. I mean, I must know this name, Jeff Williams. It's the kind of name that it's such an everyday name. And I'm just going to think, who's Jeff Williams? I must know that name from somewhere. What does Jeff Williams do apart from this? Wow. That was a pretty badass guitar solo. Got to admit. I'm going to go back and listen to that solo again because I really enjoyed that. Came out of nowhere as well. You know, all those low frequencies on the guitar and then suddenly it's right up here. So lots happening there. And also the lyrics, yeah, I like them. They tell exactly the story that you said before in the chat. So definitely lots going on there. Yeah, that guitar, wow. And, you know, things like, you know, this alliteration in the lines I quite like as well. You placed your faith in fools. And I've got to be honest, I couldn't kind of save any particular lines in my mind that I thought were particularly good, but the message that came across, the story that's coming across is great. And it's almost kind of this fight against this dictator, or actually against the people that supported some kind of dictator. You placed your faith in fools. Okay. It's not a tragedy. It's not an accident. Basically, it's all your own fault, and you're going to pay for it. You'll smother and lament. Wow. Okay, let's have that guitar solo again.
There'll be no rest, there'll be no love, there'll be no hero in the end who will rise above. And when it ends, the sky will cry. The shining light will sink in darkness. Victory for hate, incarnate misery and pain for all. When it falls.
Well, now. Okay. That was interesting. You know, when it went really quiet there and she was just singing, you know, almost by herself, I thought that might be the end of the song even. But then it kicked back in. Wasn't sure what was going to happen there. So, fun, playful. Also, some really good high notes in that last chorus. You know, she went up high, just altered the lines a little bit to get more out of them. Impressive vocal performance, and like I said before, the harmonies were great as well underneath it, and the guitar consistently good, lots of really cool licks. The drums really powerful. I also heard some great bass lines in there as well. I enjoyed that. So yeah, the bass wasn't massively prominent, but there were times when he just kind of came forward and brought out some really cool licks. Good stuff. I want to know who Jeff Williams is. I want to know who Casey Williams is as well. I want to check a bit more out of them. I see there's more here in the chat. Divide, okay. Don't let me forget that, Epica. I don't know whether you're on my Discord server yet. It's still a small server and just building itself up. So don't, keep reminding me. And maybe I'll get to it before too long. I'm planning to do a live stream here on YouTube every 1,000 followers I reach. So let's get those numbers up, and as soon as I hit the 3,000, then there'll be another stream like this. But in the meantime, also don't forget, this is a little advert for everybody now. Don't forget to connect with my Twitch and my Discord, because I'll be doing more there as well. You'll find the link to my Discord in the chat in just a moment, because I'm going to put it there. Today, I'm sadly without my moderator, YT, because YT is away this weekend. It just had to be this week when I hit the 2,000 and YT's not around. But I will do my best to kind of make that up in the chat here. And here we go. That is the link to my Discord channel. So if you are not on there yet, please do go ahead and click it. Join on there if you're on Discord, and we will have a thread already there called requests for reactions and reviews, and you can just copy and paste the link to the video right in there so that it's ready for me. And I do sometimes take something out of there. Okay, smashing. So, little drink now. Cheers. Last year I put out a little political song of my own talking about the then president of the USA and some of the things that he did while he was in office that weren't that great. Maybe I'll play that at the end as a little outro. So another kind of political song against people who like to kind of do too much with their power, a little bit too power hungry. Okay, so let's get to Dimash, because today is going to be a little bit special. It is my first ever Dimash reaction. I've done Dimash reviews, and that's because I had seen the videos of the songs before a year or two ago and seen it a few times since. And that means that now I'm through those, I can finally do a reaction, because this is what I'm trying to get into a little bit more. I've done, I can only do reviews of Nightwish because I know all their stuff. But with some of the other people I've been looking at, like Lara Fabian and Dimash, I am getting towards reactions now instead. So checking out things that I haven't seen before. So I noticed here in the chat, the one that at least two of you recommended and I've seen before in my comments is Across Endless Dimensions. There we go. That, I guess, would be this one. And is it new 2 weeks ago? Oh no, but here there's one from a year ago. So the first question I have is, which of these do I want to be looking at? This one looks like it's a music video, and this one, is that a live performance? I don't know which one is the one that I should be checking out there. So those of you in the chat, let me know. Hey, Christopher Hull, I've seen you before. Greetings, hi. So yeah, let me know which one of these I should be looking at, because it looks like this one is the original music video and this one looks like it's some kind of live performance from 2 weeks ago. So which one do we want? Do we want the music video or do we want the live one? And if you happen to know whether there's any kind of blocks on them from copyright or that kind of thing, then please tell me that, because obviously I want to check out the one that will allow the reaction to stay online. Emmy, Kat, if you take a look a couple of comments up, you'll see a link that I copied and pasted to the Discord server. And you should be able to click that and just join. And then if you look on the left-hand side of the Discord screen, you'll see a number of threads. And the one that you can put it into is the one that is called Requests and Recommendations. It's under the Music Talk section, and you can paste your... you've joined it already. Excellent. Very cool. Then if you look in the Music Talk section, you'll see one called Requests and Recommendations. And you can copy and paste any links you've got there. Great. Both of them are great. Okay, but which one should I've seen a reaction video just a couple down here, and it looks like it's to this one. So that gives me a decent feeling that this might be one I can look at without too much trouble. So let's do that. And it looks like we have some subtitles as well. That's very good. Perfect. Okay. There's too much going on in the music video. Okay, that's great. So let's have a look then. Let's get started. Will I still do it this stream? That depends a little bit on how we get on with the time and how long the video is. What is the video divide? Okay, we'll see. I don't typically do 2 songs by the same artist in one stream, but we'll see what happens, whether any more requests come in and whether the time is good to us, okay? So let's see what happens. Okay, on to Dimash. Here we go. Just while it's quieting down here, we'll go back and rewind it a step or two and catch the transition to the next part. But what I want to talk about right now, I mean, lots of things actually. Firstly, question to you, did Dimash write this one himself? Is this one of his compositions? It sounds very typically Dimash, you know, even from the videos that I've seen from the Singer Show, which is, I guess, what kind of kickstarted a lot of people finding out about him worldwide. The songs that he sang, like Adagio and The Show Must Go On, and also All By Myself, there's always these little elements of electronic music in the background underneath the actual band playing. And that's happening here as well. The electronic music is in times even quite prominent. But also the kind of classic rock band in there as well. what's striking to me is that, at least for the first half of what I've seen thus far, he's been in his very kind of neutral register, mostly quite low compared to what he usually sings. And then just this last part of the song, he's kind of kicked into his more kind of bel canto style of singing, this kind of operatic curbing that I've heard quite a lot in his lyrics, not his lyrics, in his vocal performances. And you know, that power that goes into this operatic style of singing is really obvious the second he does it. So the step up in terms of intensity and in terms of the direction that he goes musically when he's doing that, it's an instant kick into your attention, and you're like, whoa, and that's a really cool effect to have. What I also want to talk about is this music video. You know, it's he's standing in an aquarium by the looks of things. You know, it's almost like this kind of Sea World center kind of thing, which I'm not a huge fan of course, because of the way they treat the animals there. But I don't know whether there's any kind of symbolism of that in here, or whether it's a soundtrack to a movie I see here in the chat. And I wonder what the movie's about, whether there's any kind of reference to what's going on here. I also see all kinds of little details in the background, some kind of buried canister behind him. I also saw clocks in the background. So I wonder what all of this imagery is actually about. So interesting. And, you know, he's singing in English, which makes me wonder whether he composed the lyrics himself, whether somebody else did that. Wow. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Whew, heavy duty at the end. Oh, okay. But we've come to expect that from Dimash, right? Very intense. A lot of emotion going on there, a lot of drama. And I mean that falsetto note at the end, wow. That's the kind of thing that you just expect to come from him, right? You're waiting for that big note at the end, and you often get those in Dimash songs. It's rare that I don't think I've ever heard a Dimash song where he hasn't really gone up into that high falsetto register. And whew, it's quite a slow-moving song in terms of the way that the lyrics develop from line to line. Lots of long notes, but that works in Dimash's favor in a way because he's great at kind of holding a note, bending a note, almost like a guitar, you said in the chat, right? That he almost resembles an instrument in the way that he bends his vocal notes. It's almost like an electric violin or a guitar, yeah. So lots of ability there. Also really well grounded. If you look at the way he stands when he sings, also here at the end now, the way he's standing is grounding himself. And the movement, as you know, he's singing, he often does a little bit of bending almost down to his knees at some point. There's a lot of drama going on in there, and he can actually pull it off live as well. And, you know, I'm just looking in the comments. It's from a movie called Creators the Past. Never heard of that one either. Is that a movie from where? The USA or... I have to admit, I've not heard of that one. Dramatic, definitely, Ali. And also, good that you joined us. Great. Thank you for checking in. And yeah, I mean, some of the music I've heard of the artists before, but not all of them. Obviously, Nightwish, yes. Dimash, I've heard of. Epica, I'd heard of, but I've been saving myself for some of their songs and a couple of other ones that I've never heard of. So a nice mix today. Yeah, there's Broadway singers who can hit the emotion, perhaps, and hit the drama or the intensity, but the vocal range, wow. I don't think there's many out there that can do that. Even some of my favorites, like Steve Balsamo, is one of my favorites from the musical scene back then. He played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar for a while, and he had an unbelievable range. And Dimash takes it a bit further. I think he basically encompasses all of the possible human vocal ranges and then some. There's notes that he sings that aren't even on a piano, that they're so high. And I've heard that he can also do like the whistle register like people like Mariah Carey can do. So it is pretty unbelievable what he can actually do. Italian film with mostly American actors. That's interesting. Oh, okay, great. And, this is not just kind of a regular cover. And that's what I have been used to from Dimash thus far. I've been kind of used to him performing really good covers of bands like Queen or, vocalists like Lara Fabian. And I've been waiting to kind of see something different from him that's not just kind of some cover song. And this is great. It's good to see him doing something. I guess this song was written for him then to perform. And that's really cool to just see him doing something that is his own in a way. Just looking in the comments again. Robert, I think I've seen some comments from you before on my videos, right? About Dimash and about Lara. And yeah, heck of a voice, definitely. And he seems to be a nice person on stage. I mean, obviously, I've not seen much of him actually interacting with people off stage or talking, but you've seen him live, I believe, Robert. I think I remember a comment about you seeing him in the USA. And I always defer to people who've actually experienced that themselves. Oh, really? Wow. Shatner and Depardieu. That's interesting. I may have to check that out. I didn't realize William Shatner still did sci-fi. Okay. Learn something new every day, right? Okay, great. So that was my first Dimash reaction. History has been made today. So I'm pleased with that. I will cut that out from here as well and upload it as long as there's no kind of copyright complaints on this video. Then I should be okay to do the same with the actual cut reaction there so that more people kind of get to see it. And yeah, wow. Heck of a vocalist. Okay. Is there anything that I've missed? Are there any kind of requests for a last reaction perhaps in the chat that I have not yet looked at? Yeah, less big, more intimate. I think that would be interesting, definitely, to see a kind of smaller performance by him. I guess that'll be tough these days, kind of getting a small, intimate performance with him now because he's launched so widely around the world, and I guess a lot of people are waiting for him to tour, but it would certainly be great to see, yeah. So, I think I'll take one last reaction or review request. If anyone would like one more, then I can still fit that in. I'm just keeping an eye on the clock because I see that before too long it's going to be bath time for the kids and dinner time because Sunday evening I've got to get them to sleep before too long. And then I may just play one of mine at the end to see us out. And that'll be a nice round 2,000 subs stream for today. So thank you, to all of those of you that have subscribed either more or less recently and contributed to that being, the case that I've hit the 2,000 mark now. And of course, if you're here and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? There's a button there on my channel, of course. Hit the sub button and hit the bell so that you know when the new videos are coming online. And if you're interested in interacting a little bit more outside of the videos, then do remember my Discord server. I posted a link to that up in the chat. And you can easily jump on there and put some review and reaction requests on there, but also just interact in general. I've already set up a Dimash thread in my Discord server, but I have to admit there's not a whole lot of Dimash fans on my server yet. So if more of the Dias would like to join me there, then I have a Dimash thread ready to go so that we can talk about him and his music some more and we can look at some clips together. So that is worth doing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing something original as well. I'm not too sure which one yet, just for fun, but maybe my political one. We'll see. 2 a.m. Stella, of course. Then Sleep Well and reactions with the fans. Mademoiselle Hyde. I've seen that suggested a few times before. Yeah, I think I've seen that suggested both for Dimash and for Lara. Could that be? I believe that both of them have sung that song, and I haven't seen it yet at all. So that'll be interesting to check out one day too. Okay, but I haven't seen any further requests for particular songs here in the chat just yet. I'll give it another kind of 10 seconds or so, and if nothing new comes in, then I will come back to Emmy and the request for Divide. I don't typically do two by the same artist, but I think today that's okay. It's a celebration of the 2,000 streams, and you're here with me. And of course, I have to assume that you're subscribing to the channel now, Emmy, right? If you weren't already, then the least I can do is say thank you and look up your link here. Let me just get that loaded. Oh, okay. That sounds like drums. Here we go then. Let's do it.
Does it feel good knowing you tried, knowing that all that remains is the slow, cold, brutal death of the bullets that will all die in vain? How does it feel knowing your efforts will fail? All that you built will be torn down, the hope of your people assailed. Say your guidance, they will fail. Legends and heroes will crumble and fall, you will not prevail. Allied together, unthreatening display. Define them with doubt, it will all wash away. Wars fought cannons of their hope and ignite the hearts of their very souls. I will extinguish their
Right then, I was waiting for that note to finish and it took a while. Kind of like with the song we saw before, really long notes being held there by Casey Lee. Impressive, very impressive. And I have to admit, out of the two songs that I've already checked out today then, by them, I think I like this one even better. It's more powerful. It's certainly more kind of symphonic metal. And, just at the beginning, the guitar came in and then those strings, wow. Very symphonic. So that actually goes in the kind of direction that I typically listen to sometimes. And, Casey Lee, she's got quite a young sounding voice. I don't know how old Casey Lee is, but vocally she sounds young and quite, high pitched vocals. Quite a distance again to the guitars. But what really helps in this is that the strings are there, and that actually puts up a really broad spectrum of frequencies from low to high. And I think I like this one better partly because of that there's not such a gap between the low sounding guitars and the high sounding vocals. 50, are you serious? 15 or 16? Vocals like that. Of course. And we have this dragon here, and I remember this being like an anime show that you told me about before, right? Excellent music, and 15 or 16, wow, vocals, unbelievable. I have said this before, I've had requests quite a few times for various child singers, some of them as young as like 9 or 10 or 11, and I've been really conflicted about that. I've been struggling to decide whether to do them at all or not, because, I myself am a dad of 3 kids, and I've seen so many kind of child stars become so massively pressured by their parents and then by the industry that they develop really bad mental health problems. And I've been worried about contributing to that by doing the same thing, here on my channel, and bringing in really young vocalists that have so much pressure on them already. So I've been wondering back and forth about that. I think 15, 16 is the kind of age where I can work with that still, and can justify looking at it. But I've been worried about that. And I mean, this shows a lot of talent and a lot of power in the vocals there. Really cool. Okay, let's carry on.
Form your armies, dream your dreams, make your plans and plot your schemes. Set your fighters one and all, then in battle watch them It was you who ended their lives, made them to dig their own graves. With your dark, sick, cruel design, convinced them their world could be saved. Have you no shame, signing them up for your war? Train them to fight what they can't be. Your sins are what they'll pay for.
Nope. Can't go that long without pausing. I've got to talk about something occasionally. We'll go back to that, though. I'll take us back and we'll jump back in there. So, man, this is... it's intense. And you may not be able to hear this if you're not wearing headphones like I am, but right now, like when the backing vocals come in, it jumps back in my headphones all into the corners here, and then it jumps back forwards again with the lead vocals. So there's a lot of thought that's been put into how they're actually going to pan this in the mix, and it's really effective. Just highly planned and coordinated arrangement there. And there's so much going on there. There were individual notes that sounded like a whole orchestra just in one point and then went back into the kind of metal riffing. Is Jeff Williams Casey Lee's father then, or how are they related? I guess they must be related. It's probably not a coincidence. Okay, that's all I need to say. Let's carry on. That was intense. Wow, just cut off ending there. And there's those strings still playing out at the end there. Unbelievable. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Yeah. The kind of 16ths on those bass drums and on the bass as well, which I couldn't hear all that well in the mix, admittedly. But wow. That's pretty intense stuff. Whew. And, you know, powerful lyrics again. There's a lot of kind of battle theme in the lyrics here in both of these songs from what I remember, you know, and talking about dynasties and talking about governments and how they fall and corrupt leaders, that kind of thing. So, obviously a common theme probably from the show then that's being made. So I guess they made the whole soundtrack to the show if this is a common theme across an album, perhaps. So, wow. I will check out more of them. I will. Interesting suggestion today, Emmy, and thank you for that. And cool to check out. So I'm just looking in the chat a little bit more, and I see mention of Angelina Jordan, right? I think I've seen comments before mentioning her. There's a few people that kind of keep recurring in the comments, and I think Angelina is one of them. Did she come from one of the talent shows online? Was she kind of the young representative of one of the countries in a talent show? Was it Norway or somewhere like that? Is that the right person that I'm thinking of there? I guess kind of the policy I'm trying to develop a little bit is to check out these vocalists when they kind of come of age a little bit more and when they have some agency into what they're really doing, whether they're making their own choices in this. I don't know how old Angelina is now. Is she perhaps grown up now? Is there something that I could look at of her these days that I could see, you know, what she's like now? That'd be really interesting. Because with like really young children, I kind of almost see my daughter in the same position and just think, wow, she's so young for this, you know? But if you've got something like of that kind of age, 15, 16 upwards, I think that's kind of old enough where they know what they're doing themselves, right? Music education, you know, I'm not a huge theorist in music either. I'm one of these kind of self-taught singer-songwriters who looks up things as I need to as I go along. So that is something that I also kind of try and develop myself as I go along. Loud anime music is certainly what it was, I'd agree. But it's also symphonic metal, at least in that last song. It was very symphonic metal. And cool stuff. Definitely. So, I have done as many reactions as I can fit in today. Because in a little while I have to go and tend to my little ones as well as 3 of them. And they all need baths. And they all need food. And then they all need to go sleep. Because tomorrow is a kindergarten day. And there's lots happening. So, I thought I might play one little song to say goodbye today. As a thank you for tuning in. I don't know whether many of you have heard my stuff before. If you have, and there's a song you'd like to hear today, then stick it in the chat right now and I'll play it for you. If not, I will randomly come up with something of my own to play. I have too many songs where I can just kind of say, this is the one for today. But I have my piano here, I have my guitar here. So if there's one of my tracks that you've heard before that you'd like to hear live today, then go ahead and let me know about that, and I will play it. And if not, I'll just play something random instead. Obviously, I can't keep up with symphonic metal all by myself with my acoustic guitar here or with my piano, but I will do my best. Ali. Okay, controversial. So, my guitar has been standing around for a little while. So I've got to tune it quickly before I start playing. But that's okay, that won't take long. And this song, you know, I always want to see the best in people. And when someone is democratically elected, I want to see the best in them as well and hope that it'll be okay. I guess those of you, especially from Europe, you know that Europe was very skeptical of President Trump, former President Trump. And that was mostly because of his attitudes towards all kinds of groups of people, from immigrants to women to refugees, all kinds of things. And, you know, he was controversially tweeted a lot, and that was okay. But a few things happened where I just kind of thought, wow, I really don't like this at all anymore. If I hadn't thought that in the first place, which I did, I just thought, oh my goodness, this is just too much. And one of those things was when 3 Supreme Court justices were replaced by strongly conservative new ones. And the straw that broke the camel's back for me a little bit was when the pretty much irreplaceable Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. And it was just before the election. And the fair thing to do there would have been to say, okay, we'll wait until the elections happened. Which, you know, when Obama wanted to appoint a new Supreme Court justice, he was made to wait. Mitch McConnell and so on made him wait. And then as soon as Trump got into power, he put his first conservative on the bench, and then number 3 happened. And nothing against ACB. Don't know much about her, but I thought that was a really sucky move. and I got annoyed about that, and I had to write this. And I just released it as a kind of standalone single. And actually, this came about by chance a little bit. I was teaching a class called The Language of Songwriting, and they gave me a bunch of words to put together into a song, and I did the same for them. And the words that they gave me were just happening alongside this, and I was like, yeah, this fits. And there is a kind of lyrics video, an animated lyrics video to this on my YouTube channel. So if you're following me already, you'll find it in there under official music videos. It's called Power of Your Pen. And I have to admit, it's been a long time since I sung it, because it's been a long time since I've sung anything. I cannot wait. My first live show on stage again is going to be in a couple of weeks, because lockdown has been relaxed now here in Germany. And it's time to get back on stage. And I have to admit, after a year and a half of hardly doing any shows at all, I'm a little bit, I don't know, some butterflies in the tummy, wondering what it's going to be like to jump back on stage again. It's going to be so strange. I'm going to have to learn to be extroverted again. So forgive me if I get anything wrong today. It's been so long. But here we go. Let's try it. You managed it again. You've murdered your democracy with the power of your pen. Upholding your autocracy, McConnell on your side. You've drawn your legal cutlass, your own infantile pride scissors through your moral compass, pushing justice to the right. And out here, there were so many, hoping they'd live to see the next RBG, but they're here in 2020, seeing in ACB, rush number 3 in despair. This bring you your win? Can't lose in your mentality, your own brand of spin, circulating your reality. You can't take it on the chin, trying to orchestrate a victory. Are you happy in your skin? Going down like this in history, when your court is on the ride. And out here, there were so many, hoping they live to see the next RPG, but they're here in 2020, seeing in ACB, rush number 3 in despair. You hypocrite, your cowardice will serve to be your legacy. Not even they can prop you up, and gone you'll be come January. And out here, there were so many, hoping they live to see the next RPG, but they're here in 2020, seeing in ACB, your rush number 3 in despair. There we go. That was Power of Your Pen. That was my most recent single, a very spontaneous one, released under lockdown. So if you like the song and if you'd like to hear the whole band version of it, and if you'd like to buy it for a very small amount of money, you can find it on my Bandcamp page, which I'm going to link for you right now, and see whether you'd like to have a look at it. And there's all of my music is over there as well. So it's worth heading over and checking it out. If you like what you heard today, then please do go and have a look. So that is all we have time for today. So I hope I've done all of my advertising. Take a look at my Discord server if you're not on there already. Then head over, say hello, keep us talking about all the things that we love about music and other things as well. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget that, because at 3,000 subscribers will be the next big live stream. And, you know, the sooner that it happens, the sooner I see you again, I guess, right? Until then, of course, there will be sporadic reaction and review videos coming online. Don't be afraid to kind of comment on the videos and ask for, you know, particular videos that you'd like to see. And I hope we will stay in contact, and I'll see you again here soon. So thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been fun, and it's been enjoyable checking out all the songs you suggested. So until next time, thank you all very, very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye for now.